welcome to BrickVault. Today in front of us I get to show you guys three classic pieces of American muscle built in Lego. Now technically the Corvette 1969 Stingray isn't a muscle car, but I think it fits nicely with the other two. There's a 1969 Dodge Charger in orange and a late 60s Mustang that looks pretty much exactly like a smaller version of the Creator 67 Mustang that came out earlier this year. From the designer Sawman Bricks, he's built them at a slightly above minifig scale size so they can fit in a few extra details and really make these three builds look quite distinctive. And if you wanted to build them yourself, you can get the instructions at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. They come in the 3-car set here, and included with each purchase is the PDF step-by-step building guides for the 3 vehicles, as well as individual parts lists for ordering all the pieces you're going to need to make each of these cars. The designers that we partner with work incredibly hard to make these amazing creations. Sawman Bricks is definitely no different. He's got a few other classic vehicles under his belt built at the same scale as well, so links to everything are going to be in the description below, and any and all support from you guys is always greatly appreciated. It really helps us out here at the channel, and it really helps out the designers that we work with like Sawman Bricks. I'm going to go through the details of each car individually and then just give you guys a general overview of what I think at the very end. Let's start off with the Mustang. Mustangs are my personal favorite kind of muscle car. They're just so distinctive and raw looking. They're very powerful. And when we were originally talking with Sawman about the designs, this was the very first car that he built in the trio. He was really confident about the design choices made at this size. It looks incredibly distinctive, and of course this will be a positive plus to those that already have the Creator Expert larger version of the same car. Ours is still kind of souped up and decked out a little bit, but the distinctive features are all still there. I think the front of the car is always, it's considered the face, and he made some really clever design choices in order to have the bumper look the way it does. The lights are placed correctly, and the hood bumps up just a little bit because of the enlarged engine on the inside. When we take a look at the back, you can see a bit of the lights have been built on their sides in order to get those stripes in there, and in a couple of places there is some clever uses of hinge pieces in order to get some nice angles, both with the back window and the front windshield. Because it's at a larger size, there's space enough to fit 2 minifigures instead of the standard one, like if it's built at a play scale or a city size, and you'll notice this as a common theme. But the rooftop pieces never actually totally stud into the windshield, they just kind of match up in the front. Perhaps someday those wheel well pieces will be made in dark blue, but for now the black is not a particularly distracting alternative color. Next up is the 69 Corvette Stingray, probably one of the smoother and sleeker looking sports cars in history. Just those wheel wells are such a distinctive and interesting feature that aren't really included the same way on other sports cars before or after, really. It matches up with Dave Slater's 1969 Stingray a little bit. There's some custom building that went on for his larger model, but you can definitely see some of the main distinctive features are still there, which includes the little rivets on the side. And it's funny, Sawman Bricks' design for the pointed nose is a little bit overdone. It's a harsher angle than normal, which I think works at a smaller scale because you kind of want to exaggerate a certain few features in order to make them very distinctive, kind of like how a caricature of a face is drawn. And when you look at this thing next to a picture of the Mako Shark 2, which is the original concept car before the Stingray, you'll see that the original design actually had an even more pronounced point, very similar to this one. The evenly large 4-round lights in the back is so distinctive for a Corvette. You absolutely know immediately when you're behind one. And once again, like the Mustang, the wider build for the car allows for a slightly better interior build, and there is space again for 2 minifigures. I would like to say that you shouldn't use some of the bigger, poofier hair pieces, even with the increased size. Fitting 2 figs into a build like this and still keeping the cars relatively low, scaled properly low, means there is very little headroom. Now jumping onto the last build, this is the 1969 Dodge Charger. You may be able to recognize the 01 on the side. This is built to look very similar to the General from Dukes of Hazzard, and the Charger, like the Mustang, is probably one of the most well-renowned muscle cars in existence today. I think Sawman Bricks really knocked out this design particularly well. I have no doubt he had fun building the number onto the side. And the distinctive features of the Charger are captured so well with the front grille. I really love that triangular wedge piece pointed forward that really makes the Charger distinctive. And the body is a little bit rougher, a little bit boxier, and all in all just a more aggressive looking muscle car compared to a lot of the other ones, in fact. When you open it up, there's a little bit more space on the inside. There's space to maybe even have another minifigure lie down probably. And of course, like the rest of them, there's a nice interior that has space to fit a couple of minifigs. You gotta lean them back all the way once again, but there's a little bit more forgiveness for hair pieces on this one. And the roof is put together by a bunch of 1x6 tiles at the top. No, we didn't make a sticker graphic for the flag at the top. Number one, we just didn't want to make that flag. And number two, it's also super annoying to try to put a big sticker across a bunch of bricks. Lego did it a little bit in their sets from back in the day, and it's something that we really try to avoid. In fact, I don't think we've done it yet for any model in the studio. Maybe we have, but I don't think we have done it. I'd have to check. Either way, this is such a fun car, and it looks amazing with the other ones. I think the color combination is super striking with these three builds. And now let me get into the handling with these models, starting off with the Charger. As you might be able to guess, car builds are usually super strong. Kind of like architecture structure builds, there is a blockiness to them with only a few angles that need to be captured correctly, and for the most part you can do that without having to make delicate connections. The Charger here is essentially built like a rock. The only thing I can think of that might break away is if you put a little bit too much pressure on that back bumper, if you pull down on it a little bit. Other than that though, this is really just as strong as any playset that you could ever find, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Let's jump on over to the Mustang. The Mustang is also built like a rock. When I go around and test all the different angles, the only piece that I found maybe jumps off or pops off a little bit is a piece of the sloped bit of the back of the model. If you apply pressure there unevenly, there is a slight place that can break away a little bit. Easy repair, and once again, everything else is really built rock solid. And last but not least is the Corvette. Super strong build. Nothing to complain about here or on any of them. You can handle this model incredibly casually. There aren't even really a lot of extremities on any of these models that can catch your finger easily and break away. They're super solid, and I'd say they're just as strong as any Lego playset out there. They're certainly built to the proper size, and the upscale allows for a bit more detail included. Like I mentioned briefly in the beginning, Sawman Bricks does have a few other designs that are very iconic, and my guess is that if you really like some of these models, he might want to build more. And if you had any suggestions about other types of classic cars that you might want to see built by the same designer, now is the time to leave some comments in the comment section below. Once again, if you wanted to build these designs yourself, you can get the instructions at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. If you enjoy what we do here, a like, subscribe, comment, or share is of course greatly appreciated. And thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time at BrickVault.